Now, the next thing is really positive for this expansion, though.
Yeah, this is something that they announced was it last week or this week, or and it's
Monday
as Monday.
or
Yeah,
Tuesday.
time doesn't make sense, but it's cool as hell.
This changes everything. Brackets for dungeons, and it really does. It really does. This is a humongous change. I've definitely seen a lot of people be a bit confused about it, but in fairness to that perspective, there's a little bit of it is inherently complicated.
No, not in fairness to this perspective, because it's literally there's a graph. Maybe I just understand things visually quite well, but I'm just like, how do you not get that? How do you not read that and go, oh yeah, it makes sense?
If you can answer that question, it would explain a lot of people.
Yeah. How do you not? There you go. It's on the line.
Basically,
and rewards, both the same thing.
Affixes, the bit people don't like as much. There's less of them.
Yeah.
Mythic
there's
Plus.
there's not less of them.
Okay, there's
That's
less
a bad
of
way
them.
to explain it.
Okay.
They don't kick in until higher on the relative difficulty curve.
Yes.
And also there's an option up here where you don't have to do any affixes that is equivalent to what a Mythic 10 is today, which is basically the higher end of normal, lower end of heroic.
Yeah. So, I mean, the core point, right? The three main issues. Heroic dungeons may as well not exist. They're who gives a shit? And they're so close to normal anyway. Mythic Zero dungeons rapidly lose relevance a few weeks into an expansion, right? So, there's problems. And the only true mode, of course, is Big Timer, which not everybody likes. What they've basically done is they've made Heroic harder. They have made Mythic Zero harder. And that means if you don't like timers and stuff, you have a video game to play. Whereas previously, you had a heroic dungeon. And that's kind of it. And as for the other things like rewards and currencies, they've just made it work.
All the same.
And it's pretty much equal.
All the exact same as before or thereabouts, realistically.
Yeah, we definitely are kind of giving you the short version of this.
Yeah.
But
that's
like,
there's not really too much to say outside of literally like this is it. Heroic is now as hard as a Mythic Zero was. Mythic Zero is now as hard as a Mythic 10 was. Mythic starts up here difficulty wise and it doesn't end well. It ends here progression wise.
Yeah, but of course it will keep on going up. So all of that high-end Mythic gameplay about the push, you can still push as much as you want. But it does mean if you don't like the Mythic Plus style, but you do like World of Warcraft, there is dungeon content that's relevant to you. I think that's pretty major. Dungeon content is inherently more accessible because it requires less people. And kind of like it's only really the mega dungeons that have had this kind of difficulty exist.
Yeah, that's of course, what they say specifically, right?
Blizzard, so basically, right, you know, mega dungeons and the patch they come out, like, you know, Mechagon and Dawn of the Infinite, like those with no timers, and you just go in and kill things and have fun. And actually, there is a boon here to gearing. Mythic Zero, of course, the bosses drop their own loot.
Yep.
So you'll actually, you know, versus was it 40%?
40%, yeah.
Yeah, your 40% chance of getting loot at the end of a Mythic Plus dungeon. Well, it's a lot higher in a Mythic Zero.
Yeah, and also targetable.
Yeah, and that's relevant because it's not part of the infinitely farmable Mythic Plus system. So yes, your M0s are in a lockout, but I think that's completely fine.
Yeah.
I honestly, I think that there are effectively zero downsides to this, other than the inherent downside of if you change something, that can lead to confusion. I've already seen lots of people kind of say that this is bad, but then you look at what they've said, and it's clear they've completely misunderstood it. When I looked at the responses to our video, loads of people who are super happy. Like, just so many people, I didn't like Mythic Plus. This actually is a change that can make me come back.
Yep. Why is M01 lockout? That's a question I've seen asked quite a bit, and they didn't give a specific answer outside of it's kind of the way it always was. But if I were to offer reasons, it has to be, one, they're targetable. So if you, now obviously they're on a lower track of gear than Heroic or Myth or whatever else, but it drops more loot and you can just do it. So I think they want people to do an M0, just loop as opposed to do, you know, one M0 every single week. Or do the one every time you want it until you get the item, because that would be like they clearly don't want you to do that because they want you to engage with the key system for loot, which is you have to randomize the dungeon or target to join a group.
Well, the way to, it's like Mythic Plus. The dungeon is incidental. The thing that gives you the loot's the key, is almost the way of thinking about it. Whereas, here with the dungeon, in order for you to go in, kill the thing, and have a good chance of getting loot, it has to be on a lockout. Similar justification to why raids are on a lockout. Actually, one thing I do want to do is just take a look at the video that we published. Kind of the start of our ongoing effort to revitalize the Warcraft channel. We have a lot of content in the pipeline. But just to go through these, right? Top comment, 172 upvotes. As someone who loved Mythic Plus but always struggled to find time to learn the mechanics of dungeons, having dungeons off a timer that's actually hard enough for the mechanics to matter is huge. And that's a really big point. Let's say, like, you're, a bit nervous about mechanics or you want to practice a little bit. You can't really do that right now, whereas, here you can. Our next one, I've been hoping for this for years. I hate timers, but they love 5-man.
Yeah.
You're like, the one under that. I'm so hyped. I love difficult, content. Somebody else also saying they're excited. There's hello, Night Stalker. Looks like they took the correct conclusions from the 10.1.5 Mega Dungeon release. Yep. Another one of our regulars. Thank God. I've said since, just since start, I want a more challenge in dungeons, but not a timer. Yeah, lots of happy.
Yep.
You've actually sounds good for everyone. Well, you've got to go down a bit before you actually start seeing, people being like super, unhappy about this.
Yeah.
So, seems everyone forgot how brutal the dungeons were at the beginning of Kata. I don't think it'll be that. But actually, Matt, imagine launch day of the expansion with this system existing. So an M0, it's going to be hard.
Right. It's really not. It's really not.
No, but the launch of an expansion.
There's going to be slightly more hard.
Okay, put it this way, right?
Yeah.
One of the bits that's always fun at the start of an expansion is doing M0s when you don't have enough gear. And they actually feel like proper fights.
M0 World Tour is definitely one of the best parts.
Yeah. Now imagine the M0 World Tour in the world where that graph exists. Because first we'll be doing our heroic, but the M0 will be quite a bit harder. So that actually means some of the 5-player content challenge you can get on launch day of War Within is going to be way harder than what the equivalent was in Dragonflight. Yeah. Assuming they don't, fiddle around with the accessibility dates for that content. That is actually one thing they could do. They could decide to have the Mythic Zeros open up with the new season, with Season 1 of War Within, rather than being there from day one. Because, just thinking about the gearing implications, given how much better the gear will be from M0s this time around. But overall, one of the ways that I titled this was... initially is, we pretty much always have to go through a few titles to see which ones produce the best results. But one of them was this will be massive for World of Warcraft's health. And I saw some people really? I actually think no, from, it's again an upcoming video. It's with our members, right? No, the Mythic Plus video isn't with our members. You
recorded this morning, sure.
I recorded it yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah.
We had time to...
Yeah, no, that wouldn't be done in a day. That would be insane. Yeah. Well, it'll probably be with members Monday or Tuesday. Maybe Tuesday. But dungeon content's humongous in WoW right now.
It is, yeah.
And if this is only good, you can really see the potential. So whenever I say that I think this is massive for the baseline health of World of Warcraft, I do say that backed up by data, of course, the Night Stalker compiled, and... Oh, yeah, and I just think this could be really big.
Yeah, there is a slight potential for this to backfire for a lot of players. Only in the single point of... Because obviously, I was there saying, M0, it still won't be very hard, because it's fine. There may be people who really do not vibe with the difficulty being higher. But I also think this isn't...
That's fine. They can do heroics. You can... Oh, wait.
No,
heroics queuable.
No.
But Matt...
No.
If you right-click on your character and you click heroic and then you walk into the dungeon, it will be the same difficulty as what an M0 was.
Yeah.
They have access to the only...
No, they can't do Mythic anymore.
The point is... those people are stupid. I forgot.
But also those people are 60 to 70% of the player base. Remember Silver Training Proving Grounds? Remember Silver Proving Grounds?
I think the problem with Silver Proving Grounds, some of that's going to be to do with presentation to players, and they just kind of put it. I don't know. I think that could have been done better. No, like I
generally think there's going to be some backlash on this game is harder now, and I think they'll counteract that by making the game on average a bit easier.
well, they've already done that.
Yeah, so I feel like even looking at like the affix thing there, because the blue dot the blue dot is where the affix is added. So this being like affix 3 is here versus being here.
Here's the thing. If they go straight into that initially, yeah, they'll be like, oh god, it's too hard. But they can do normal, they can do heroic, they can work their way up, they can get gear. They're getting more gear now. They're able to upgrade their gear. Like maybe a bit that's different from the past, right? A Kata heroic. What was that? Eye level 376? I don't know. Or was it 276? I forget anyway. But if you're going into a Kata heroic under geared,
I don't think under gear was a problem.
yeah, well actually, yeah. And with how modern WoW is, that won't be the problem here. I genuinely don't think this will be a massive issue, especially given how many people do M+ and just like how sort of generally good a lot of the player base is. But also just like design clarity, and there could be like some teething pains, but you have to, if this is fundamentally better, you have to accept the early teething pains and get through it. Like most people, I think, would agree now that the gearing and upgrade system in World of Warcraft is pretty great. It has issues. We can talk about crests and alts and stuff like that. But like the way that I put it at the time, 10.1 is the worst it would ever be, because that's when the most change was happening. Whenever you then are into 10.2, there's no change. It's still the same system. So, if so much of the negative is front-loaded, essentially feedback-wise. So if you can basically stick it through the initial feedback, but the sort of overall design is better, will be more successful in the long run. You got to have the courage you got to have the courage, right? You can't flinch immediately and then kill it. Like imagine if they had to everybody say, to people saying, oh, this is too complex, I don't like this, I don't like that, my bags are full. Like imagine if they flinched and moved away from the system. They overcorrected after 10.1. Then we'd have worse gearing system in the game. So yeah, I think you're right. There could be some of that, but I don't think Blizzard should flinch, because I think the fundamentals here are far better.
I don't think so either. Trogu points out that Preach was saying there are people who are complaining because their number is smaller. And that's one of the things that's like really annoying about like having to do with like the psychology stuff.
What number's smaller?
This one. This one's smaller now. And that's the really annoying part I was saying about like working with psychology and stuff. Like
a lot of the things that appeared in my head were like, just you can't say that on YouTube.
Yeah, one of the positives I was saying was that this will be more approachable to people, because you'll be doing a +2 instead of +12. You're doing a +9 instead of +19. And that'll be more approachable to people who struggle with like the concept of the difficulty and like feeling the need to work their way up the ladder.
The solution to their problem is actually here, Matt.
Yeah.
Little blue circle, little blue pill, some people might even say.
What?
It just feels like a bunch of fucking weird.
Do you know what people do? What blue? All right.
Okay.
Okay. There's two kinds of blue pill. Okay.
Right. So I was going for Viagra. What were you going for?
Oh yeah, I did. Okay. I thought you didn't know you were going for Viagra. I was like, what? Why would that?
No, I was going for amitriptyline.
Get back in the Matrix.
I don't know.
Yeah. That's what I thought you were going for. I didn't think you were just like.
Yes, I basically
male enhancement. Like,
I basically said, well, those are the people who will like. I'm thinking of like car analogies.
Yeah.
The people who've got like a shitty car, but they just rev it and annoy everyone. It's like, we get it. You're compensating. I don't know. I feel like, I just feel like if you're genuinely angry at that.
Not angry. It's just a mild psychological change. I've been like,
yeah, but if that's genuinely a problem, you're probably just a bit thick, a bit stupid. Like,
yeah. Do you want to know something really funny about the IQ bell curve, Michael?
Yeah, well,
Is that it's a bell curve?
turns out that's what the channel was named after all along.
Yeah, we're the bottom of it.
No, like, sorry if that's genuinely perturbing you.
Touch grass, like.
Yeah, touch grass and stop making a tit out of yourself, because you're definitely you're underselling your intelligence with a take like that. See that, man? Very polite way of framing it.
You're fucking buffoon. I will not have you pulling any punches. For everyone you pull, I'll hit twice as hard. Yeah.
Good. I trust you to keep it all in balance.